All right, hello everyone. My name is Will and I'm the CEO of Phonely. Today we're going to be going through a super quick tutorial on the talk block. The talk block is the most valuable block that we have in Phonely's platform, and the reason for that being is that you can use it to basically have AI talk like a person and accomplish a specific task. So whether this is from accomplishing a sales call to scheduling an appointment, the talk block can do it all. And we're going to show you every single setting that you need to know to configure the talk block to get the most success out of your Phonely agent. Let's jump right into it, and we're going to head over to the workflow tab on Phonely's agent builder. Now, right here, I have a blank workflow. It's almost always going to start like this, where you have a greeting message, and then you can click plus, and then hit the talk block. The talk block is what is going to allow you to talk back and forth to your customers. It can accomplish a variety of different tasks. So it can gather information like names, emails, phone numbers. It can also handle things like sales, navigate complex conversations, and get to the exact place that a user might want to go, just like a person would. So it's like your scripting that you'd give a call center agent if you were to have one of those. So to do this, we will just type in what we want to accomplish with this, which is around appointment scheduling and just gathering the reason for the call. So we're just going to type in this generate with AI feature, which is a really cool feature, meaning that you don't have to prompt engineer or do really any work to make it happen. So to do this, we're going to say gather the caller's name, email, and phone, and ask if would like to appointment or talk. All right, so once we have typed in kind of what we want, as you can see, I didn't even spell half the stuff right here. When we type it in, AI is gonna do the work. It's gonna clean that up and it's gonna write a perfect prompt just for us so that we don't have to worry about getting all the formatting done. Now, in this situation, it generated a concise prompt that says, gather the information that we're looking for, and it goes through different steps. So right here, just to give you some context on what's actually going on here, inside the prompt block, what we're doing is we're sending this to our AI model, and that AI model is going to use this information in order to guide a response. Now, the prompt is not the only thing that we're sending to this model, right? We're sending a lot of other context that we've developed over the course of 2.5 years of building these voice agents, these language models, to make sure that it's going to respond contextually relevant. It's going to pick up names, emails, all that type of stuff we build into the platform. So what you're seeing is just basically the raw instructions that are going to go right to the agent. So if something's not correct here, well, you can modify, you can type it, you can change it, or you can ask the AI to regenerate it based upon your request. So in our situation, we give it some objectives, it gives it some steps. Don't worry, it's not going to affect how the agent talks. That's set somewhere else. And then it gives it exit conditions. Now, exit conditions are basically just branches. And so they're called exit conditions because that's exactly what they do. It's like when one of these conditions is hit, then it's going to exit the block. So it's going to go from this block to another block that we want it to go from. So these, we like to define our exit conditions. So here's the tip. We like to define our exit conditions to be as specific as we can with this stuff. And so we do a pretty good job with Generate with AI. But in this situation, as you can see, we make sure that we include that it gathered all of the correct information inside of that. That just a little bit of extra specificity is going to make sure that the AI agent is not going to jump blocks when it shouldn't. So make sure you are specific enough. And if you see that the AI skips a block when it shouldn't, well, you can go back here and you can edit it and you can adjust it, or you can use our build with AI feature that's going to adjust it for you. So those are some other options. The next thing that we have here is variables. So variables have a few key components. So what a variable is it's basically like a customer, a support representative, somebody just taking a note. So they're like writing down maybe the caller's name, right? But in this situation, we're storing it in the computer and we can send it really anywhere you want to do. So in this situation, we're storing the caller's name, we're gathering the full name of the caller, and we can make it required. And that means that we can't move on, we can't go to any other block until we've completed that required step. If we want to confirm with the customer, then we can confirm that variable before we exit, and it's going to confirm all the variables basically at the same time in a natural way. And we can also spell that variable back. And so that way we can ensure we have 100% accuracy before moving on to the next block. And if they spell it back and they say it wrong, well, don't worry, the AI is going to correct it. Make sure we get the right spelling before moving on. The next thing that we have here is, so we have the name and then we have the type. Now the type is basically the format that is going to be stored as. So name, it just gives us a little extra context, but let's actually go to email. So when we select the type as email, that's going to actually format it as an email. So you don't have to worry about saying, hey AI, format it exactly this way. We've already got that built in. It's going to say, you know, john@gmail.com if that is his email address. And the last thing that we do is phone number, same thing, storing it as the phone number. But let's say that we wanted to store this phone number in Australia, for example. Maybe we just want to format it differently than how we'd want to. So this is our traditional phone number, which is going to store in E164 format, which is just +1 715 blah 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 blah. But if we wanted to store in a very specific way, what we can do is we can actually adjust the type and we can make it a custom type. And so I can give the AI some instructions on how I want to classify this. So in this situation, I'm going to say store as this format. Let's see.
And then we're going to do dash new.
And then this way, it's going to store it as this format. So what that allows us to do is not have to worry about how we're formatting variables, not have to do anything post. You can automatically format it in the correct way here, so that when you pass it on to the next step, you have that information. Now we're going to dive into the advanced variables. The only thing that we have in advanced in this section is call outcome tagging. What is call outcome tagging? Well, what it allows you to do is it allows you to tag each block with a specific tag. That's why it's called an outcome tag, so that you can adjust it and you can do analytics on it afterwards. So some of our big customers, what they're using this for is, let's say they're doing like, optimization of their lead flow, and they want to see at what phase people are falling off, people are hanging up, so they can optimize for a specific conversion. Well, call outcome tagging allows them to do this, and then what you can do is you can pass the outcome tag later on into another variable, into another place. So maybe you're making an API request later, you can take that call outcome and then you can pass that API over there. So you can store it in your system to be like, oh, looks like 45% of calls hung up at this block and not that block. We should probably work on fixing that block. So that is the entirety of the talk block inside of Phonely's platform. Now I'm going to get into some really quick differences between the talk block and some of the other blocks on our platform. So the other blocks that are somewhat similar to the talk blocks, which is like two-way AI interaction, would be the collect and the ask exactly block. Now the collect block is basically like the talk block, but with less flexibility. So you're just only collecting a few pieces of information and it's going to move on. There's no way to branch on that, and it's only basically just the variable section. So it's really the same thing as the talk block, but you're only looking at variables. Some people prefer it because it makes it really easy to see like, okay, I just need to gather this information before going to the next step. But honestly, I just prefer to use the talk block. Now the ask exactly block, now this is a little bit different. Ask exactly will basically tell the AI to ask a specific question in the exact way that you formatted it. While this may seem appealing, it's only really valuable for compliance questions or very, very specific use cases when you always have to ask something the exact same way. The reason this is the case is because ask exactly blocks can sound robotic, and if customers, the value of the talk block is the AI can respond naturally, dynamically, react to what the customer is saying, and it feels much more human-like. If you're just using ask exactly blocks, it can start to feel more like an IVR system where it's like saying the same thing over and over again. So that's why we recommend using the talk blocks over the ask exactly block unless you're in very specific circumstances. So that is the entirety of the talk block. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be going over every single one of these blocks, so if you're curious about any of the other ones, feel free to check out our other video tutorials. And thanks so much. We're really excited and can't wait to see what you build on side of Phonely's platform.